Imagine stepping onto a private jet, being handed a glass of something you can't even pronounce, and settling into a leather seat that probably costs more than your car. Now imagine doing all of that while spending less on travel than the average family does on a basic economy vacation. Sounds impossible, right? Not if you're rich. And today I'm going to show you the strange, surprising, and almost unbelievable ways wealthy people travel cheaper than you think, sometimes even cheaper than the rest of us. And no, it's not because they're just good with money. It's because they understand the system most people don't even know exists. Let's start with something that feels almost like cheating. You've probably heard of credit card points, but the wealthy don't just collect points. They play a whole different game. While most people swipe their card a few times a month, the rich run entire businesses, investments, properties, and large purchases through premium credit cards that earn massive rewards. Imagine getting points not for buying groceries, but for paying contractors, shipping fees, inventory orders, employee salaries, and luxury purchases. Those points stack up so fast it's almost ridiculous. And here's the twist. Those points aren't used for boring flights. They're used for business class seats, five-star hotel suites, and sometimes even private jet transfers. Meanwhile, the rest of us earn 2 points here, 3 points there, hoping one day we'll have enough for half a flight to Cleveland. The rich treat points like currency because for them it is currency. And unlike regular currency, points aren't taxed. That means a wealthy business owner can essentially use rewards to travel the world for pennies. Not because they're cheap, but because they understand leverage. But points are just the beginning. The wealthy have access to something called negotiated rates. Sounds boring, but it's the number one reason they almost never pay full price for anything travel-related. Luxury hotels don't want to be empty. Private jet companies don't want their planes sitting on the ground. High-end resorts don't want off-season rooms unbooked. So what do? They create quiet, behind-the-scenes discounts for the kind of customers they want to keep returning clients, VIPs and high-spending travelers. These aren't promo codes you see on Google. These are private deals. The kind you only get if you're connected to certain agencies, concierge services, or loyalty programs. So while you're scrolling through websites looking for the best price on a hotel room, a wealthy traveler might be getting a room twice as nice for half the price. And often, they get upgrades for free. Breakfast, airport transfers, spa access, late checkout. Not because they asked, but because hotels want them to come back. The rich are valuable customers, and businesses treat them that way. You might be thinking, fine, hotels give them deals. But private jets? There's no way those are cheap. Actually, sometimes they are. Here's how. Private jet companies want their planes to be in the right place for their next customer. So when a plane needs to fly empty from one airport to another, they list that flight at a huge discount. These are called empty legs. And empty leg flights can be 70 to 90% off. A wealthy person with the right membership or app can fly private for less than the cost of a normal commercial first-class ticket. Sometimes even cheaper. The reason most people don't know this is because private aviation companies don't exactly advertise cheap private jet flights. It sounds bad for their brand. But the discounts exist and the wealthy use them. Another way they save? They fly at unusual times. The rich don't travel the way most people do, planning around school schedules, weekends, and holidays. They travel whenever they want. And because of that freedom, they can choose off-peak days when prices are at their lowest. Tuesday departures, Wednesday returns, or middle-of-the-night flights that nobody else wants. While families crowd summer weekends and Christmas break, the wealthy are flying during quiet weeks where seats are plentiful and cheap. It's ironic, but the more flexible your schedule, the less you spend. And the rich have the most flexible schedules of all. But let's move beyond flights. Let's talk about something even deeper: ownership. One of the biggest secrets of wealthy travel is that they don't always rent their travel experiences. Sometimes they own them. Not fully, but in tiny, strategic pieces. Fractional jet ownership, timeshares at luxury resorts, vacation club memberships, elite villa networks. These give them access to high-end travel at dramatically lower costs over time. Owning a small percentage of a jet, for example, lets them fly whenever they want without buying a whole plane. It's like splitting the cost of a Lamborghini with 12 friends, except the Lamborghini comes with a pilot and champagne. Then there's something even more surprising. The rich often negotiate directly. Most people don't realize you can negotiate travel. Hotels, especially high-end ones, often have wiggle room. If you're staying longer, booking multiple rooms, or arriving during a slow period, they'll cut a deal. Wealthy travelers understand this. They call. They bargain. They use travel agents who negotiate for them. Meanwhile, most people never even try because they assume everything is fixed. But in luxury travel, almost nothing is fixed. Another secret? They make travel expenses tax-deductible legally. If the trip involves business meetings, partnerships, research, or company operations, part or sometimes all of the trip can be written off. That doesn't mean rich people are vacationing for free, but it does mean the government is covering part of the cost. And once you combine tax advantages with points, negotiated rates, and off-peak travel, things start to get shockingly cheap. Here's something even crazier. Wealthy travelers also use loyalty programs in a way most people can't. When you stay at a hotel 10 times a year, you get points. When you stay 150 times a year because you're constantly traveling for work, meetings, or events, you become a VIP. That VIP status gets you discounts, upgrades, free nights, and insane perks. It's a cycle. The more you travel, the cheaper it gets. The richer you are, the more you travel. And round it goes. But maybe the strangest secret of all is that many wealthy people don't actually care about fancy travel in the way you think. Yes, they like comfort. But a surprising number of rich travelers fly economy when it makes sense, stay at affordable hotels during short trips, or choose simplicity over extravagance. The difference is, they have the option of luxury. They aren't required to use it. And that freedom ironically lets them avoid overspending in situations where it doesn't matter. For them, value matters more than appearances. And of course, the biggest advantage the rich have is information. They have advisors, concierge services, and travel managers who know every trick in the book. They understand fare charts, seasonal pricing, membership benefits, and international travel hacks most people never even hear about. It's not magic. It's knowledge and access to the right people. So when you see a wealthy person flying first class, staying in a suite, or hopping on a private jet, don't assume they spent a fortune. Sometimes they did. But sometimes they spent less than the person crammed into a middle seat behind them. The rich don't just travel in style. They travel smart. Smarter than most people realize, and that's the part nobody talks about. People assume being rich means paying more. But in reality, being rich often means paying less because wealth isn't just money. It's information, flexibility, leverage, access, and strategy. So the next time you see someone living that luxury travel life, remember this: it's not always about having millions. It's about knowing how the system works. And now you know 2. Want more videos like this one? Stick around because we're just getting started. The world of money is stranger than you think.